ACL filters any packets, it is going to check only the source address. So also we have seen some basic introduction to extend ACLs. Extend ACL, the number range which is given in between 100 to 199 can be referred, the router automatically understand as extended ACL. So using extend ACL, not only we can allow or deny a specific host, network or subnet, we can also define a service. Selected services can be permitted or denied. So recommended to implement closest to the source, and generally it is going to check the source address, destination address, protocol as well as the port number. And then we have seen some basic implementation of the ACLs, like standard ACL. If you remember the example here, we have created some multiple rules and then applied on the interface. And then there are some rules which you need to follow when we write the ACLs. ACLs works in sequential order, and it always, in most of the cases, preferable to give deny first. There should be at least one permit statement, and if no statement matches, in that case it will simply block all the traffics, and you can have 2 ACLs per interface. Normally editing of ACLs is not possible in case of numbered ACL, but if you use named ACL, in that case it is possible. So we'll see in the later on sessions about how to write named ACLs. So let us jump to directly the extended ACLs. Okay. So in case of extend ACL, so creation of extend ACL. So I got a small lab scenario where I'm going to implement a simple example here. A second lab, I can say second or third lab, implementing extend ACL. So I'm going to take the same diagram, the 3 routers diagram, and the pre-requirement in our lab is designing the topology, IP address, interfaces are up, and assume that there is a dynamic routing protocol is pre-configured, any one of the protocol, and then all the 3 LAN users, 192.168.1.network, 2.network, and 3.network are able to communicate with each other. Okay, so already they are communicating with each other. Now the next thing, I have some rules. Let's say these are the rules I have. Like, I want to deny the complete 2.network should not access 1.3 HTTP service. So assume that there is a HTTP server on 1.3. So here you can see I got a HTTP server here. Anyway, maybe server. I'll just assume that this is my HTTP server. So I'll take this as HTTP server. Assume that is your server in your company with a 192.168.1.3 IP address. I want to make sure that 192.168.2.network should not access 1.3 HTTP service. The complete 2.network should not access 1.3 only HTTP service, but they can access the other services on 1.3 but not HTTP service. So if I go with the second rule here, you can see the second rule. So the second rule here is, so I'll write the different rules, whatever we just decided here. So let's assume that these are the rules. The first rule, 192.168.2.network should not access. The first rule we can say as 192.168.2.network should not access 1.3 HTTP service. Okay, and the second rule here is the complete 3.network should not access 1.4 FTP service. So assume that there is a FTP server on this side. This is your HTTP server, and this is your FTP server on 1.4. I want to make sure that I want to deny the complete 3.network should not access 1.4 FTP service. Only that particular service I want to deny. And after that, the complete 3.1 should not access 1.3 HTTP service, and then the complete 2.network should not get any DNS service. Assume that there is a DNS also running on the 1.4 computer. I want to stop that, and also I want to stop some ping messages between 3.2 and 1.2. They should not be able to ping to each other. Deny the users from the host 3.2 and 1.2 should not be able to ping to each other. This is the next requirement here. Okay. And finally, remaining all the services should be permitted. Okay, so assume that I got a rules here, so where I define a specific services here. So when I talk about specific service here. Here you can see I'm going to define HTTP service, FTP service, DNS service. So whenever we talk about specific services, now we need to make sure that we are going to use something called extended ACL. So you have to make use of extended ACL from the LAN 2 network. So from 2 network to 1.4 FTP service I want to deny. Okay. So to implement this, we need to use the above ACL rule should not affect the other communications. Remaining host and the services should be permitted. So now exactly what we need to do is we need to write down the same rules here as per the requirement here. So our requirement is, if I just figure out these things into simple steps, the first rule here is, okay, so I want to deny the first string. I want to deny. Let us try to write down the rules in simple here. I want to deny the complete 2 networks. I'll simply write as 192.168.2 network should not access 1.3 HTTP service. So assume that there is a HTTP service running. I just want to make sure that these users cannot access the HTTP service. Okay. So if I talk about the next rule, so the second rule, the second rule here is, I want to make sure that complete 3 network should not access 1.4 FTP service. There is a second rule here. And if I talk about the third rule, the complete 3.1 should not access 1.3 HTTP service. 3.1 should not access 1.3 HTTP service. And similarly, if I go to the next rule, the complete 2 network should not get DNS service from 1.4. So I want to stop the complete 2 network should not get DNS service from 1.4. And then finally, between 3.2 and 1.2 I should not be able to ping. So between 3.2 and 1.2 I just need to make sure that they should not be able to ping, they should not be able to trace anything. So these are all the things I want to deny. And finally I want to make sure that all the remaining traffic and all the remaining services should be permitted. So now if I try to figure out which router to implement, like we have seen which is the common router, if you take out the figure out the common router, the router 1 is a common router where all your traffic is going. You can see 1.4, 1.3, 1.4, 1.2. So to filter out, so I'm going to make sure that I'm going to implement on the router 1. Router 1 is the appropriate router where we are going to implement. So I'll go to router 1 and then I'll go to config mode and I'll start configuring these things in my routers. So what I'll do is I'll try to open up my topology here. Anyway, some of the things we cannot verify here is we just need to make sure that we assume, okay, it's working fine. So I'll take 3 routers where already some routing is already done, maybe some static routing or any of the dynamic routing. So we'll start with our lab here. So where we'll try to implement the 3 routers, getting into console screen of these 3 routers. Okay, so I got the console screen of the routers. So first I'll try to verify, I'll go to router 1 and verify the routing is pre-configured or not. So I'll start with router 1. Okay, so I'm going to start with any one of the router. If I go show IP route, I can see there is a pre-existing static route is configured, and I'll try to go to console screen of the router 1 as well. And if I verify show IP route, and I can see all the 3 networks, all the 3 LANs are able to ping to each other. So from the router 1 I'm able to ping to the other computers or other LANs, we can say. Okay, so now what exactly I want is I want to implement these rules. First I want to deny the 2 network should not access 1.1 1.3 HTTP service. So first deciding the appropriate router, like just now we have seen. So you have to figure out the common part. So router 1 is the appropriate place to implement. So now the next thing we need to decide which is the source, which is destination. So either you can take this as a source, this as destination, or you can take any direction, because in case of extend ACL, we define the source as well as we define the destination. So when we define both source and destinations, you can take any source, any destination. So if you want to follow the same standard, like whichever the router you implement, that should be the destination, and whichever the packets coming to that can be the source. It's up to you. You can take in any format. There's no compulsory conditions. Only the difference is when you take reverse, the direction only changes. So I'm going to follow the same order. I'm going to take these 1 dot networks as my destination routers. Wherever I implement, I'm thinking as destination, and what are the packets coming to my network, I'm just going to take them as source addresses. Okay, so let me try to go to router 1 and implement the configurations. First I'll start with config mode, access list. So if you give 1 to 99, the router understands as standard ACL. Okay, so right now we are not using standard ACL, I'm going to use extend ACL. So I had to use any number in between 1 to 100 to 199. If you see here, I used 145 over there in my manual, so I'll try to follow the same number. Now again, you need to say permit or deny. So first statement, I want to deny. Now once you give this, then it will ask you the protocol. Now the next option will be protocol. So depending upon the category of the protocol, like there are some different categories of the protocols here. If we talk about the protocol list here, so mainly TCP/IP is the main protocol which we use. TCP/IP is the main protocol here, and in this TCP/IP main protocol, like here, this is my main protocol category TCP/IP here. So if you talk about IP category protocols, TCP/IP is the main category of the protocols. In that, again TCP/IP, again you got 3 different categories of the protocols here. We got ICMP, we got UDP, and we got TCP. Like here you can see, this is my first protocol. The main category of my protocol is IP. This is my IP protocol. IP is further classified into TCP protocols, UDP category, as well as you have some ICMP. So if you want to stop ping messages or trace messages, then we define the category of the protocol as ICMP. And if you want to define any services which comes under UDP, like if I talk about DNS, DHCP, or if you want to stop TFTP service, any other services which comes under the UDP category, we have to define the protocol category as UDP. And if you want to stop any services like FTP, HTTP, Telnet, which uses transport layer TCP protocol, we have to define UDP. So depending upon the type of the protocol you are selecting, we need to define which protocol you want to use. So right now, as per our example, if you see here, the first category, if I define HTTP, so if I talk about HTTP comes under the category of TCP. And if I talk about FTP protocol, comes under the category of TCP. And if I talk about again HTTP, it comes under the category of TCP. And if I talk about DNS comes under the category of UDP. And if you want to stop ping and trace messages, you have to use category protocol called ICMP. So depending upon the type of the service you are selecting, you need to find out which that particular service comes under which category of the transport layer. So that's what I am doing here. So that's what you need to define here on the router 1 console screen here. It's asking access list 125 deny. The protocol category, the first protocol, first statement, you can see I'm denying 2 network to 1.1 HTTP service, so TCP. And you can define the source address. The next it will ask you the source address. Source address is 192.168 3 network. That's what we defined. Any traffic coming from 192.168 3 network, the first rule, 192.168 2 network, if it is going to destination 192.168 1.3, and then wildcard mask you have to give first, and then you have to give destination address. The destination address, if it is a single host, you can just write as 192.168 1.3, and then we need to define EQ operator. There are multiple operators, like EQ is equal to, suppose if you want to deny any service, anything equal to 80, we give something called equal to 80, or you can say equal to 80, or you can give the name of the service as www. So it will deny all the services, all the traffic whichever comes in between these two. So we are going to write the first rule, EQ HTTP. So there is no HTTP here. Either you can define the port number or you can define the name of the service. Right now, as per the router iOS, the name of the HTTP service will be www. So that's what I'm going to do here. So if I say not equal to, like you have some multiple options, EQ is the first option, or even you can use not equal to also. Any key represents not equal to. Not equal to means it will deny all the services between 2. network to 1.3 except HTTP. Suppose if you want to deny everything except HTTP, in that case you can also define not equal to as well. So when you define equal to, which means exact that particular service will be denied. So I'm going to write the statement once again. Access list 145, then you define deny or permit, and then we have to define the protocol category TCP, and then we have to define the host address. So right now the first rule, I'm going to deny the complete 2. network or 3. network. So what's the first rule here? So the first rule is the complete 2. network should not access 1.3 HTTP service. So that's what I'm going to do. So 192.168 network 0.0.0.255, and if it is going to 192.168.1.3 equal to 1.3, I want to deny. Okay, equal to 1.3, that is HTTP service, equal to HTTP or www, you can give the name. Okay, so this is what we can do. Press enter. So similar way, if you want to write the second statement, this is what my second statement. I want to deny all the users coming from 3. network to 1.4 FTP service should be denied. So let me write down access list. Use the same number. Deny protocol category. FTP also comes under the category of TCP, so I have to define TCP, and then the source address is 192.168.3. network, so I can define the network as 192.168.3. network, and then destination address is also a single host, so I can simply write as 192.168.1.4, and you can use equal to FTP service. So either you can use the name of the service or you can define the port number. So if you don't want to tell the define, you can just define the port number as well. Okay, so but I'm just using FTP name as FTP. Okay, equal to FTP. Done. So similar way, the next statement, access list 145. I'm going to deny the users coming from 3.1. 3.1 should not access 1.3 service. So access list 145, deny protocol category HTTP, which means comes under TCP, coming from 192.168.3.1, and the destination is 192.168.1.3. if it is HTTP service, that is equal to HTTP service. HTTP means I can just give the name www. Okay, done. So similar way, the fourth rule, you can see, define the users on the LAN 2. network should not get the DNS service from the DNS server 1.4. So assume that 1.4 is having the DNS service. So access list deny, access list 145, then you have to define deny, then protocol. This time we have to use UDP category because DNS service comes under the category of UDP, and the source address is 192.168 2. network with wildcard mask 0.0.0.255, and then destination address is host 192.168.1.4. 1.4 is my DNS server, equal to, when you define equal to, DNS means you can see the name as domain. You can see the name. If you want to stop the DNS service, you have to use domain. Okay, so here I'm going to use domain name. That's what I did here. So access list 145, the fifth rule, deny the users coming from 3.2 to 1.2 should not be able to ping to each other. So between 3.2 and 1.2, I don't want them to ping, so I'm going to deny. This time I use a protocol called ICMP, because ping and trace commands comes under ICMP category. ICMP, and the source address is 192.168.3.2, and I'm going to deny destination to 192.168.1.2 equal to, there is no equal to here actually, we have something called echo request, echo reply messages. So ping and trace comes with echo request and echo reply messages. So if you want to stop the ping and trace messages, you have to stop this echo request, echo reply messages. So you can give echo command, echo, and then echo reply. So done. So this is how we need to implement these rules. And once implement this, now we need to implement it on the interface. So now to implement on the interface, either you can implement on any one of the interface of the router 1, like, so now this is our source. So I took the source as these two as a source. So this is my source, which means when it comes from here, enters here, when it enters on the serial 0/1 interface, either I can implement on this interface on in direction, or I can implement on F0/0 out direction. And in case if you take this as destination and this as source, opposite, in that case only the difference is you'll get a wrong direction, like maybe you'll need to implement on the out, and this time you need to implement on the in if you use opposite directions. So that's the only difference here. So depending upon the source and destinations you select, the directions changes. So as per our understanding, as per our example, either I have to implement on in of S1/0, S0/0, or I need to implement of out of F0/0. So out of these two options, I had to use any one of these options here. So probably I'll try to go with any one of the implementation here. So I'll go to router 1, and then I'll try to implement on F0/0 interface, IP access group, and the ACL number is 145, and I'm going to implement on the out direction. So if you just try to verify the same statements in your workbook here, all the statements are just documented the same way. So here you can see either you can implement on F0/0 out direction or S0/0 in direction. So probably you can, if you want to verify, you can verify only the ping things, like here we don't have any services to verify here, but probably we can try with fourth message, like on the router 1, if you remember, we created some access list 145. I'm going to verify these things. So I'll try to generate some ICMP messages between 3.2 and 1.2. So I'll go to 1.2 computer. 1.2 means in my PC, this is my 1.2 computer. Or you can go to 3.2 as well. So it's up to you. So I'll try to ping to 192.168.3.2. So you can see there is no reply messages coming. From 1.2, I'm not able to ping to 3.2. Let us wait for some more time to verify. So it's not coming. So I'll try to verify to 3.1. Let me try to verify from 3.2 here. You can see the message here, destination was unreachable, because when I try to ping from 3.2 to 1.2, I'm not able to ping. I'm able to go till reach till 10.001, that is router 1, but the router 1 is not allowing you to send because of access list rule here. If you see here, you can see there are some 4 matches happens here. And similar way, if you try to ping 1.1, there's no problem in 1.1. So you're not getting the exact output here. So if you try to ping from 3.2, if you try to ping to 1.2, it says request standard, but if you try to ping to 1.1, probably you'll see the message here going. Okay, the reason I am not able to see because I forgot one statement here. So if you try to see here, I denied all these things, but I did not give any permit statement. So access list 145 permit IP any. This is something which is mandatory. So I just forgot that statement. That's the reason you can see here, when I try to ping in my computers here, I was not able to get the reply even if I try to ping to 1.3 or 1.1, because the reason is it's denying actually. So between 1.2, 3.2 no communication, but I should be able to ping to 1.1. Last time I did not. You can see I'm able to ping to this user. At the same time, I should be able to ping to 1.3 on the router 1 LAN, but only 3.2 and 1.2 it will stop the ping messages. So that's what extended ACL is capable of, filtering both source and destinations. So if I try to verify my router 2 ACLs, if I go and check on the router 1, sorry, we created ACLs on the router 1. So if I go and check, you can see permit statements matches here. Whatever the remaining, so these are the 3 things which we can verify here. Mostly we cannot verify much with these services here, but just an assumption that how to write the ACLs for specific services. So either you need to know the exact port number, or you need to know the name of that particular service. So you need to define that with an operator, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. GT stands for greater than, less than, where you can even tell deny all the ports where greater than 1000 or in between 1000 to 2000, like that. So let me remove these ACLs. So I'll just try to remove the ACLs configurations from my interface. So just add no before that. And if you want to remove the complete access list, we can just give a command called no access list 145. Okay, so this is how we extend ACL exactly, we configure, and this is how it works exactly. Okay, I'll come to this lab restricting the Telnet access. Before that, let me just finish off with the other statements as well. I got one more lab, so I'll just try to tell about named ACL. So before I move to the restricting the Telnet access, so now, as I discussed, there are actually 2 different types of ACLs in our statements here. Like whatever the ACLs we have used just now, they are numbered ACL. So why we call numbered ACL? Because the reason is all the rules are defined either with a name or number. So here we are going to define a number. If you define the number of the ACL in between 1 to 99, the router understands it's as a standard ACL. If you define the ACL number in between 100 to 199, the router understands it's a extended ACL. But again, the main drawback with the ACL numbered ACL is we cannot do any editing. Editing means if you want to add any line in between, we cannot add any line. If you remove one line, it will remove the complete ACL. Okay, editing is something which is not possible in the numbered ACL. So they introduced something called named ACLs. The new iOS supports this named ACLs, where we are going to identify the ACL with a names rather than numbers. Okay, and again in that, there are 2 categories: standard, extended. It's the same way what we discussed just now. The only difference between the named and number is the way we write, and it's a case sensitive, and there's no limit for the ACL numbers. So you can create any number of ACLs, and the main advantage here is we can make editing of the ACLs. So any version from 11.2 or later iOS versions all support these things. And if you want to write the ACL, this is the syntax here. So the syntax here is, I'll try to show you the syntax here. So first we need to start with, instead of starting with access list, we need to start with IP access list, and then we have to say standard or extended. Because in case of number ACL, when you give 1 to 99, the router automatically understands it's a standard or extended. If you give 1 to 99 standard and 100 to 199, it becomes extended ACL. But in case of named ACL, you have to specifically define whether you want to use a standard ACL or extended ACL. And then we can give some name for the ACL. That is what I'm using. Ccna is a name. And then press enter. So from then onwards, permit or deny, whatever the statements, like permit, deny, whatever the statements, we need to continue the next line. Like in our numbered ACL, we use the same line: access list, 10, permit, and then host and wildcard mask, something like that. But here you need to say deny. Let's say I want to deny the host 192.168.1.1, and then I need to say deny host 192.168.1.2, and then I need to say deny network. There is no network here. 192.168.3.network with 0.0.0.255. So like that, you can create multiple statements, and I can say permit any statement. And then finally I can implement on the interface. Implementation is same. IP access group. Instead of giving the number, we have to say name, in or out directions, something like this. So if I give show access list, I can see the access list. So now in general, if you want to make any changes, let's say I want to do some changes in the ACL. So generally you have an option called sequence number. So here you don't have a number option here. This packet tracer program is not supporting that option, but generally you'll find one number when you say deny or permit. So before this you'll find some option like sequence number. So by default the default sequence number for each and every ACL will be given 10, 20, 30, 40. Let me just show you that in a GNS program here. I'll use a separate program for that. I'll show you how to use GNS program in CCNP, but at CCNA level, as per my understanding, packet tracer is more than enough for testing, except some few couple of things. So editing of the ACL is possible in case of named ACL. So if I talk about the next lab, like if you remember, I just discussed the 4th or 5th lab, or if you remember the standard ACL we did, implement extended access list or implement the standard ACL with the same rules what we have in the lab 1. Lab 1, if you remember, we use some deny 1.1, deny 1.2, deny 3.network and permit any. So I'm just going to define the same rules. Anyway, I don't have real access list here, so IP access list standard, and then I need to say CCNA as a name, and then I need to say whatever the deny statements, all the rules remains the same. So I want to deny this, deny the host 192.168.1.2, and then deny 192.168.3.network, the complete network with wildcard mask, and then permit any. And then probably you can implement on the interface IP access group CCNA out, something like that. So if I go show access list, I can see the statements here 10, 20, 30, 40. You can see that is a default sequence for the ACLs. So let's say in future, like we discussed that in the numbered ACL we cannot do editing. Suppose I want to add any one line. Let's say if I give IP access list, again CCNA standard, and then if I give CCNA, and if I say deny, I want to deny one more host in the deny list. So if I say do show access list here, so do command is very useful command. In general, if you want to use any privilege level command, you can use do. Like generally all the show commands works only in the privilege mode, that is what hash mode. But if you want to implement any privilege level command in any other mode, you need to add the same command with do before that. So it will allow you to use any privilege level command here. So but again you need to remember the exact spelling of that command. So you can see here by default, okay, if I add the line here, so if I say 1.3, you can see the sequence number, it changes to 50. Okay, so which I really don't want. So whenever you add any statement here, it will automatically goes to the next line. So if you want to add any extra line, I can just go to IP access list once again, standard, and then CCNA, and then if you will find one option called, you can see here direct sequence number here. So I can use some sequence number as 12, something like that, and then I can say deny host 192.168.1.3. So when I say something like this, if I give show access list, you can see the statement comes exactly in between 10 and 20. So that is something which is possible. And if you want to remove any one line, let's say I want to remove some specific line, I want to remove this line 30. Okay, so again you can go to the same mode, access list standard CCNA, and then you have to say no 30. So you can see I removed the line 30. That is what editing is possible. But in case of numbered ACL, if I say no and any one statement, if I remove, it will automatically remove the complete ACL. So this is the one big advantage we get in the named ACLs. Apart from that, defining in the names, that's the only difference when you compare with a named and numbered ACL. But standard and extended ACLs, works in the same manner how they work in the number and how they work in the name. Both are same, except these are the few extra things which named ACL supports. And same thing you can do with the extended ACL as well. Here you can see extended ACL here. So I just implemented the same lab with some different rule, but this time I just used a named ACL. And you have to continue from deny or permit whatever in the next line. That's the only difference. And you don't need to write IP access list again and again. First time you have to write IP access list extended and some name for the extended ACL, and then you have to say deny, 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 permit, and the same rules what I just implemented using the numbered ACL, same thing I did with the named ACL as well. So that's the one difference between the named and numbered ACLs. So finally we'll come to one more lab. I got one more lab restricting the telnet access to the router to specific network or the host. Okay, so I'll try to take a new topology here. So I'm going to take 3 routers like so. Now in general we know telnet, right? So we know telnet, how telnet works exactly. Telnet allows you to access the remote device. Like take an example, this is my router 1. This is my router 1 here. So by default router 1 anyone can telnet. So to telnet there are some requirements. The first thing, you should have the connectivity, which means you should be able to ping to the IP address. So there should be an IP address as well. There should be an IP address and you should have the reachability. And the third thing, you should know the password. So if you know these 3 things, or if you have these 3 things, like assume that from this user from 2.network I can telnet to router if I know the password, because already there is a connectivity or reachability here. And from here also I can simply telnet to the router 1 from anywhere I can do. Even I can telnet from router 1 from the LAN also, from my own LAN. So by default anyone who knows the password, who knows my IP address, and who knows the password, who is having the IP address, and whichever the host connecting, if it is having the reachability, then anyone can telnet. But let's say I want to make sure that router 1, any user coming from host 192.168.1.1 and 192.168.1.2, only these 2 users should be able to telnet router 1. If any other user, let's say 1.3 or 2.1 or 2.2, if any other user tries to telnet, my device should not allow the telnet session. So sometimes in your company you may have some specific host from where you want to access the remote devices, and you don't want someone accessing telnet even though he know the password. I don't want anyone to access my device from specific host. So I just want to make sure that telnet should be only possible from specific host, like only 1.1, 1.2 should be able to telnet router 1, because this is my PC in my department and this is my laptop. So these are the only 2 devices from where I have to configure the router. If any other user, maybe from my LAN or any other LAN, if they try to telnet to my router, the telnet should not work. So I want to restrict the telnet access. That's what exactly I want to do. You can see that is what our lab requirement here. So why exactly we secure our telnet lines? So when you're monitoring your network and notice someone is telneting in your core router using show users command. If anyone is trying to telnet your router, you can issue a show users command to check who is connecting to your router. Okay. So now using this access class command which we use in our lab, we can restrict the users who can telnet and who should not telnet. That is something which we do here. Using this access list command, we'll decide who should be telnet, who should be able to telnet, and who should not be able to telnet. That's what we'll decide here, because it doesn't use access list and just sit on the interface looking at every packet that is coming and going, because it's not like your ACL what we did just now. It will not sit on the interface and check each and every packet. Instead it will be implemented on the VTWA line. When any user tries to telnet, it will cross check with the source address. So let us see the requirement here. I got a requirement, continue with the same previous lab configurations and use the same diagram. Just remove the ACL configurations and the implementations. So if you try to see here in our lab, I did not have any ACLs configured here. So on the router 1, by default, if I verify show access list, I can see some access list as Ccna. So I'll try to remove that access list, no IP access list Ccna. Sorry, standard Ccna. So if I verify show access list, there's nothing. So I'll go to config mode. Okay. So now, so access list. So I need to say access list. So before I create an access list, I'll try to configure some password here. Line VTY 0 space 4. Password I'll give as Ccna, because whenever you want to telnet, there should be a telnet password. Okay. Enable secret. Secret password also I'm giving Cisco password. And then I'm saying the configurations on the router 1. Okay. So now, by default, anyone who knows the password. Let's say I'll try to go to 3.1 computer. So I'm sitting on 192.168.3. network. I know this is the IP address of the router 1. You can see I'm able to ping. And if I know the IP address, if I have the reachability, and if I know the password, I can simply telnet the router as well. Which means anyone who knows the password can telnet. But sometimes in most of the companies, if you have a common shared password between all the branch offices and you don't want any other branch office users to telnet to your router, so in that case, I can simply configure some rules on the router 1. Like I can say access list 12 permits host 192.168.1.1 and host 192.168.1.2. So in this ACL, I am just defining only these two users. I am allowing only 1.1 and 1.2 should be able to telnet router 1. Any other user who will be trying to telnet should be denied. So that's what I am doing. So just define the users who want to permit. And by default, everyone is denied. So apart from these two users, 1.1, 1.2, if the telnet traffic comes on this only these two hosts, that will be permitted. And then I can say, and then implementation wise, I'll write implement on line VTY 0 space 4. Generally we implement as access class ACL number in. So now this access class in command is implemented on the VTY line, which is going to check the VTY line. Any user trying to enter through VTY line, it will check with ACL 12, and that ACL 12 only says that only permit 1.1, only permit 1.2. Remaining any user should not be permitted. That's what it will do. So I'll say show access list. I'll try to telnet once again this time. This time I'll try to go to 3.1. Last time I was able to telnet. I'll try to do once again from 3.1. You can see I'm able to ping. There's no problem with the reachability, but still I'm not able to telnet router 1, because when a user tries to telnet a router 1, okay, so it will simply deny the statement. So either you can write as access list 12 deny any statement, deny any, not compulsory, but for verifications you can write deny any. If any user tries to telnet, it will be automatically denied here. You can see someone is trying to telnet, it's going to deny the user. Similar way, if I try to do the same thing from 3.2 computer, I'll try to telnet to 10.001. So it simply refuses the connection. You can see 10 matches here now again. So similar way, but this time I'll try to generate a telnet traffic from 1.1 and 1.2. So if I try to telnet from 1.1, the IP address of the router is 192.168.1.100. You can see it is asking me the password. So now this time it is permitting 1.1 host. So similar way, if I try to telnet from 1.2 as well, 192.168.1.100, it will ask me the password, and then you can see this time it is permitting 192.168.1.2. But if I try to telnet from 1.3, it is not in the permit list, so I'll most probably I should not be able to telnet. So I'll try to telnet again. You can see the connection is refused. Again you can see deny packets here. So it increases. So this is the way we can restrict the telnet access. Who should telnet, who should not telnet. So if you want to verify who are the users who is using the telnet session, you can issue a command called show users command. You can use a command called show users. You can see who are the users who is actually telneting and what is the exact VTY line they are using in order to telnet. So right now 1.1, 1.2 are telnetting, and there is some console line also open, which we are also doing consoles connection. So show user is a very useful command to see who is telnetting your device. Okay, probably we can verify that telnet sessions, we can say. In simple, we can say some telnet sessions. Who is trying to telnet your router? Okay. So that's all about ACLs.